G'day everybody, welcome back to Sparks Tarot. So today's pick a card reading is going to be about what this person thinks about you. Now this person is just someone who you are close with recently. So it doesn't have to be romantic, okay? So it can be platonic, it could be professional, it could be familial, anything. It's just the person who has the closest energy to you at the moment. And if you're confused or just curious about what they're thinking of you. So let me just give you a close-up of the card because I know, because I'm using the ring light and there's kind of like a halo effect at the center. So I just want to give you a clearer look. So card one is this. Please ignore the writing. Don't worry about it. Just look at the picture and feel the vibe and just go with it. So that's number one. Card number two is this one. Okay, and card number three. So just click on the card that speaks to you the most, and I'll see you in a little while. Welcome back, group one. So if you chose this card, your guiding light or your guiding source is Isolde. So Isolde, I think most of us know the general outline of this story because that's all I know, the general outline. This is one of the original menage a trois. It's a love triangle where she's married to King Mark, but then she has deep feelings for Sir Tristan. So she's caught in this bind where there's loyalty to her main man, but then this kind of magnetic love that she has for the side dish. So, I mean, it's more romantic if we read the card rather than going by my summary. So it says, undying love. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. So this already seems to be maybe quite a complex situation. So that's the original grounding card. But of course, I picked other things to go with this so I can have more information on what this story is going to be about. I got the Algi's rune when I grabbed one for this particular energy. So the Algi's rune signifies a shift in consciousness or the way that we see the world. And usually that's brought about through meeting somebody new or getting information sources from, you know, the internet, from magazines, from TV, whatever tickles your fancy. But it causes us to have a profound shift in the way that we see and judge our reality and our world. The cycle of this connection right now is in the South Node phase or Ketu phase in Vedic astrology. I'm a Vedic astrologer. So the message is, don't let your past hold you back. So Ketu is basically, it deals with past life issues, or if you don't believe in reincarnation, it's just past events which occurred in this lifetime that you should be leaving behind. Now, the kind of base for the relationship that pulls you two together, I got this card. So this is from the Psychic Heart Tarot, and the violet segment of the cards represents wand energy. So here there's passion or fire that is guiding you towards the correct way to see this relationship or for this relationship to be. Because as you can see, this ship is going towards this light source. This light source actually emanates from a lighthouse. So the lighthouse's job is guidance. So whatever has happened so far, you are being guided in the right direction to either heal, fix, or continue this relationship, whatever the situation may be. So I don't really know yet, but these are just a few of the factors. Now, to get the story, I'm going to use tarot at the end of the rainbow. Now, this is a very, very cute little deck. I got this in the beginning because I love rainbows, and then they had characters which really tickled my fancy. So they've got like satyrs and centaurs and fairies, the whole shebang. So I thought, oh, this is a really, really good deck to get. So what I'm going to do now, after a good old shuffle, is this. I'm going to draw out cards to represent you and your counterpart. So the first card here is going to be your counterpart, and second card here is going to be you. So these are going to be the respective energies of the reading. Of course, if this one fits, like sounds more like you, then feel free to identify with this one and, you know, yada yada. But we'll see how things go here, and then we'll look at the story deeply in relation to this. Okay, so what represents your counterpart is this. What represents you is this. Okay, so before we even move on, let's take a look at this. Over here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles represented by a gnome on a badger. And then here we've got the Page of Wands. So we've got earth and fire energy represented by a treant. Okay, so now let's go with this card first. You can see that there are two entities being counted as one versus this one solitary energy. So just on this alone, this person is going to be more erratic than this one. Okay, because they need to control or govern two different opposing sources of energy, which needs to be pulled together versus one that's acting in unison. Now, if we take a look at your counterpart, first of all, the gnome cannot travel very far on his own because he's a little fella. So it relies on the mobility of this badger. But the badger, the natural characteristics of the badger is they dig holes and tunnels, maybe to capture prey, and also to, I think it's for food source, plus they, you know, they sleep in these little dens as well. But they never stay long. So usually they spend 1 or 2 nights and then they move away and dig another tunnel and then repeat this process. So even though this gnome may want stability, but because it's highly dependent on this badger, I don't think he too can rest in any one place for long. So this gives a very nomadic energy. The treant, on the other hand, let me just, yeah, okay. The treant, on the other hand, I mean, what are trees famous for? They're famous for being rooted. They stay in one place for thousands of years. So there's no problem with being grounded on your side of the equation. And so this energy versus this energy, it does seem in opposition. And because you're a very grounded person, if you take a look at these butterflies, they represent the color of the rainbow. So in this deck, you're always going to see this rainbow formation. And butterflies represent metamorphosis. So it doesn't matter how many changes life throws at you, you're always going to come out being yourself. You're pretty grounded. Whereas your counterpart, not that the fundamental personality is subject to a lot of change, but maybe the resonance will. And so if you were to try to pin this person down into one kind of settled area, maybe it is going to be difficult because, what he needs to do versus what he wants to do seems to be kind of in opposition. Okay, but let's see what else we got. What else is the deck telling us? That's pretty much it. Don't think we can fit any more. Okay, what's on the bottom of the deck? Okay, Six of Cups here. Okay, so can we see that? Okay. Sorry, I'm doing this on my phone camera, and I mean, I try to film it like from a like different kind of ratio, but I've had many problems with filming. I mean, yeah, I'm dodgy at this moment, sorry, because I'm just starting out and I haven't figured things out yet, so please bear with me. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. This card, we've got the 3 trolls. Yeah, they look like trolls. So if you take a look at it upright, this is a really good card because it's the 3 of Pentacles, right? They are all strategizing, working well together, and maybe now they're sharing stories about how well a certain operation went because it's the full moon. So they're probably discussing the fruits of their labor or their toil or their system. This is a happy camper. He's probably the one that does the heavy lifting. Yeah, they've each got, but these 3 energies are working very well together in order to create success. However, this card is reversed. So maybe not everyone agrees to the work distribution, or maybe success is delayed, or... But remember here, Isolde was in a love triangle, and then we've got the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So, that's weird. So, And then further on the story, you can see one of the trolls tries to run off with 7 rainbow swords, but drops 1. Now, the sword that he drops is the red chakra sword. So the red chakra is the root chakra, which basically is the grounding one, the anchor of the chakra system. So this leaves this little fella unanchored, unhinged, without any kind of security or maybe responsibility to any other person in this group. And it looks like he's trying to like make a run for it. You can see that he's looking out towards the great vastness of our world, trying to figure out where he wants to go next. But take a look at this critical piece. This is a globe, right? It's a map of the world that he's discarded and left behind. But if you go on a course that is uncharted, with no idea on where to go, you're most likely going to get lost. Or what they say, if you don't have any idea of where you're going, then anywhere would suffice, right? Because there's no direction, it seems. But it does look like recently an opportunity has been presented, because we've got the Ace of Pentacles here. Is this opportunity you? Now, it looks like it looks like your counterpart's background story. It really does. Because it says, don't let the past hold you back. But if you take a look, because you're pretty grounded here, this is like the great escape. So it looks like this is your counterpart's past. So maybe there were some sort of like dynamic which wasn't working well. And this could have been your counterpart's previous love experience, because this card really is about like a menage a trois, and then we have it here in reverse again. And the situation of maybe your counterpart was the other person in the relationship, right? The third wheel, it did leave them feeling ungrounded, and so they did want to see what does the world have to offer, and they left without pretty much a plan of any sort. And the opportunity, I think, is you. They're heading towards you, but now he's very reticent. This little gnome is very reticent, but the badger in him is making him run again. But you're the grounding that this little gnome on the badger actually needs, because this is what is pulling you two together. And I don't know, is this gnome part of the things you can change in form again? Because this is your magic. This is what you do well, okay? And if we take a look at the bottom of the deck, isn't this sweet, okay? So you can see the fawn, right? And you can see the fairy. They're not a usual couple, I mean, because this one's half goat, half human, and she's just like a fairy Tinkerbell type of character. But they found each other. They found each other, and they're working things out. And this has always been a part of maybe their reality. Maybe both of them have had experiences with people who were very different from themselves, but they've always worked, or they've had great relationships with those people. And because of this prior experience, which is quite traumatic, what this gnome sees in you is reminiscent of the relationships that he had in the past, which were very comforting. And so upon seeing this tree giant, this gnome is pulled back to a very sweet memory. And I think you give this gnome fella that stability that he needs to dismount from the badger and find a permanent place of his own. That's what this story seems to me. And you're that new influence. You're the shift in consciousness to stop this gnome from running away from his past, basically. Because you're strong enough to take his history and change it into something that can become beautiful, as what you always do with everything, the change. Okay, so my thinking is this other person in your life thinks you're the grounding essence that they need in order to grow. You are their inspiration and aspiration. They want to stop running and to form roots. And this is what you inspire them to do. So that's what I think they think about you. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for letting me read for you. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye. Welcome back, group 2. So if you chose this card, Erikura, this is going to be the base or foundation of your connection. So if we take a look at the heading, it says blossoming, and you are just getting started. So have patience with yourself and the process and do not give up. So it looks like this connection is a new connection of some sort. I mean, we don't know in what area it's pertaining to in your life, but it feels like a new connection. So of course I've got like other tools that I use to basically suss out what the energy is before I actually do the reading. And the rune that was chosen is the Thurisaz rune, which is basically Thor's hammer. It's a very protective rune, and generally it ensures success or protection against negative energies that would possibly ruin things, okay? Now, this cycle, which means what this relationship is going through at the moment, is very strange because, like I said, this Erikura card says it's the beginning. However, the cycle was full moon. So full moon is generally the fruit, the harvest, the ending. But it says surrender to the divine. So we've got opposing energies here. And I don't know what this is all about because, like I said, I don't have the story yet, but there's a conflict in energy. So I can't really make that out yet. I would need to read the tarot for that. But how we're going to do this is we're going to first check out your counterpart's energy in this connection and your energy and what brings you two together. Okay, so the card which connects everything together is, this is taken from the Psychic Heart Tarot. The green basically is cups energy. So in a conventional tarot deck, it's the cups energy. So as you can see here, dreams coming true. These hands belong to one person. However, they're two separated halves to create this whole. So this new world that you are going to make together. So of course, each person must contribute their share, their ideas and their visions in order to make this particular or these dreams come true. So which means you and this other person would need to work in tandem to create this new world that you envision. Now, let's take a look at the first card, which represents your counterpart. So this is fire energy, the cobra. And so we all know those, the Indian kind of musicians that make the cobra come up and dance. But apparently, all snakes generally, I think, but especially the cobra, it seemed to be very attuned to vibrations. So apparently they can pick up vibrations on the ground because that's how they live, and they can sense when something is a threat versus something that is not. And apparently, according to a lot of people who do work on the grounds of temples in Asia, especially in India, during prayer times, apparently if people are really engaged, you will see snakes gravitate towards that area to join in the peaceful vibe. So your counterpart seems to be more of maybe a spiritual type person, and a spiritual type person who does have like a lot of knowledge or is in the process of acquiring spiritual knowledge. So the counterpart seems like a very conventionally maybe regarded a little bit woo-woo or out there, but generally they seem to be very enlightened. Now, your particular energy, the earth energy here, of course, is the earthworm. Now, the earthworm is generally a shy kind of creature. So, of course, it burrows itself underground and it does its magic by not something that we can visibly see because only the fruits of its labor can be seen via plants. But it does a very, very important job, which is to basically distribute the nutrients in the soil and to make everything, to enable the plant to grow successfully. It has to basically dig up enough, like cause aeration or something within the soil. So, but it's not something that we can visibly see. However, it is encased in kind of like a rainbow formation. So magic is happening. It's alchemy happening. Even though we don't really see the earthworm working, it nevertheless is. So I think maybe generally you're a shy kind of person and you don't like to hog the limelight. So maybe you're kind of a reticent character, somebody who's very, not so outgoing, more introverted. And I think this particular connection is somebody, your counterpart, is going to teach you or allow you to see a different side of your reality, and hence together, and you also to show this person the more kind of spiritual, maybe more in the head space rather than down to earth practicality, practical things that this person should be doing. You're infusing these two energies to create a world which is basically in harmony or in balance. So that's just my impression. And like I said, it looks like the beginning of a relationship. The relationship is protected. And I think finally what it means is it will be fruitful. So it's going to result in a bountiful harvest, whatever it is that you're trying to create. Okay, so now we need to move to tarot to get the full story. So today I'm going to use tarot tarot at the end of the rainbow deck. Now this deck, when I first got it, like I told group 1, I thought it was going to be very superficial, light and fluffy because I like rainbows. However, it can be quite a deep deck if you see it in the in a certain context, because it does contain a lot of mythical creatures, and there can be battles between them, and yeah, it's just a whole bag. So what we're going to do now is we've got your counterpart and your energy, but now we need to see what this grand story between you two actually involve. So what we're going to see is, first of all, what energy is your counterpart bringing? Okay, over here. So okay, and let's see what energy you're bringing. All right. Okay, let's see what we have here. So we've got the Four of Swords here, which means resting phase for someone who is spiritual. And then for the shy earthworm, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and look, this earthworm's rainbow colored. Okay. I think right now, this, your counterpart is undergoing some sort of restful, peaceful phase as part of their spiritual journey. So they're not really doing a lot. So they are in rest mode. And their connection to you, I think you on the other hand are becoming a butterfly, because okay, usually earthworms, like I said, are underground, right? And they're shy, they work without recognition. But take a look, things are turning around. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune basically is what goes up comes down, what is down goes up, right? Because this is just life. But look, you're blossoming into a butterfly. Are you becoming a social butterfly? And then you're attracting other butterflies because you yourself have changed, right? And so because there's a shift going on within you, or there is a shift that's coming soon. Okay, but how does this help? Okay, so maybe your counterpart here at the moment is in resting phase, or they've been in resting phase because they were searching for something spiritual that didn't have a lot of grounding. And the way that maybe you connected was this change in yourself that caused you to be more outgoing. So you probably met in some sort of big social group of some sort, and you kind of found each other, but you don't really understand the role of each other. Because, okay, let's just do this. Let's find out the story. Okay, what's the story here? let's see what's the bottom of the deck. Oh, okay, yep. Okay, there we go. Look, look. Full moon. Okay, so, yep. It is going to be very fruitful. It definitely is a new relationship. And here we go again. Tarot is just incredible. Look, new start, Ace of Cups, new start. Okay, and here we go. It is a meeting of two very different kinds of people who are sharing a tender. Okay, this is a mermaid. She's in the water realm. This is a fawn, you know, half human, half goat. So he's in land form. Yet they found a very pristine moment to connect. So, okay, this is a spiritual thing. This person, it doesn't matter what form they come in, okay? So if it's a romantic partner, if it is a hobby buddy, if it is a co-worker, or it doesn't matter. This connection is spiritual. This is not, it doesn't matter the outfit. The fundamental factor here is a spiritual connection. Because, yeah, they are from different worlds and they found a connecting moment. And this is a new relationship, exactly as the energy. Okay, however, I think one of you, because you've always carried the burden, okay, so this satyr here is basically just walking around with a load of wands. But he is able to see a rainbow. So he's not working because he likes drudgery. It's a means to an end because he's heading towards a rainbow. But he has been burdened excessively, as you can see. He's only one satyr is carrying the full load. Okay. And over here, we also have a little fairy who's trapped inside some sort of, it looks like maybe dungeon or trap somewhere, but with a like fierce looking dragon just staring at her. However, this is your archetypal dragon. This dragon does not look particularly vexing or like venomous. Well, not more so than what dragons are. However, the sheer look of this dragon is enough to frighten the fairy. But at this stage, we actually don't understand what the intention of the dragon is. Maybe this is a dragon's smile, or maybe he is thinking that this is his next din, right? His dinner. But we don't know. But she has already prepared herself for the worst in thinking that this dragon either wants to devour her or keep her locked up somewhere. So, okay, all right. And finally here, we've got the happily ever after, where every difference is embraced. Yeah, okay. Somebody, one of you in the past, and I think here it is maybe your counterpart, has always been burdened with reality, the onerous tasks of daily life and responsibility that has led to your counterpart to fear everything, basically. And in order to alleviate this fear, your counterpart has turned more spiritual, because this is the only way to deal with it, is to lighten the mental load or the mental stress, even though the physical or the material aspects haven't really changed. And right now, this normally or heading towards enlightenment or spiritual person is taking some time off. They have reached a downtime in their life. They have a vision of what they want, but by themselves, they are at a loss on what to do. So when you guys met, when you came together at a special opportunistic moment, it's a very special moment, because this does not happen often. So this is not like your regular Friday, night Friday night drinks at the pub and you see the same crowd. It wasn't. This is serendipity. It was a very serendipitous moment that you managed to meet each other. And that only happened because you changed. There was some fortuitous change in your life that finally turned you into a butterfly from the earthworm, and you were somehow able to connect. So I think what you are doing for your counterpart is basically telling this person that dragons don't have to only be foes. They can be friends as well. And this will lighten their burden. And the connection that you two are going to form eventually will be fruitful, because you can see here, this is basically the 10 of Pentacles. You've got the wisdom of the raven that governs the whole hierarchy, which means what has enabled this person to receive spiritual awareness is still sitting there, and it's something that you've always been aware of yourself, because you've always been silently working through things without recognition. So you understand basically the idea of burden with no recognition until you kind of changed. However, what you have been able to do is bridge all differences. So initially the mermaid and the fawn, they're residing in two different spheres. However, when you get together, all that can be ironed out. So maybe there's an arrangement of some sort, even though you come from two very different worlds. And it does look, yeah, it looks like a mishmash group. However, it works. Like, I don't know how it works, but it nevertheless works. So yeah, it looks like, okay, the reason this person is connected to you resides basically in forming some sort of spiritual bridge, so both of you can flourish in this relationship. So it's definitely new, it is definitely protected, and it will be fruitful. So this person basically looks at you and thinks of you as the other half to their whole. It's a very kind of balanced relationship. You're both contributing something very valuable towards this particular connection. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope this made sense, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for stopping by. Bye. Welcome back, Group 3. So if you chose this card, Mawu is the guiding goddess in this connection, and the message is Mother Earth. So you are called upon to help with environmentalism. So my interpretation of this card is, of course, it's Gaia, the actual earth entity that we need to protect, but more immediately or in proximity, it means your world, your social circle, or your society that needs protection. And especially in contrast to the grand scheme of life, what is your role in your community? What is the role of your community in your nation? What is the role of your nation in context of the world, kind of thing? So from the micro to the macro. And there's a need to help protect at this stage. So as we all know, charity begins at home. So maybe that's the first focal point. So every time I draw a main theme card, I always use other oracle decks to give me more detail about this particular reading. So the Lagaz rune came up for this particular Mawu card. Now, Lagaz is generally using intuition. So it's moving beyond the five senses to something which is beyond our immediate understanding and perception. Intuition, basically. So that's another factor. And all relationships go through cycles. So what is the cycle of this particular relationship at the moment? And it's full moon, which means one particular point has already reached a peak. Now, we have full moon in Leo. The message is don't let pride get in your way. So Leo energy is actually very wonderful. Like in its light aspect, it's the life of the party, it's the showstopper, it's the focal point. Everybody's looking at you, you're the entertainer. Of course, on the flip side, the shadow being that pride and arrogance are also issues that you have to contend with, because the need to be the center of the party ipso facto means that you desire or you crave the attention. And so there's control issues related to that. Now, the next thing that we're going to look at is what has brought you two together. What is connecting you two, okay? Surprisingly, I got one of these. I'm using the Psychic Heart Tarot here, and this is akin to like a major arcana thing, okay? So it's a chakra energy that we have here. So the crown chakra is the Sahasrara region, or the pathway to enlightenment. So once again, it connects to Laga's needing intuition, but this is more focused on enlightenment. Do you know the 1,000-petaled flower type of thing that that you need to come in contact with? It's a very spiritual card. It is asking you to take a look at things from a higher plane, okay? So not just immediately what you see right in front of your eyes. Look at the story, or like the real meaning behind the surface of the story, okay? Now, the important parts. I've divided the energy of your counterpart and you, okay? So they're two separate piles, and we're going to look at the story, what has brought you two together, and of course then what is your counterpart currently thinking of you, or what issues are they thinking about when they think of you. So your counterpart here has this card, the Happy Families card. This card is self-explanatory. So you see mum, dad with 2 kids, right? This is a family, and it doesn't matter how it's assembled. Okay, so this is the core message. This could be a ready-made family, or it could be a family that you're going to create together. The main thing being that you're trying to unite, and then unite with something and grow something. So that's the crux of the issue here. Now, your energy is this card, okay? So the door to value, as you can see. Okay, if you contrast these 2 cards, okay? One is holding hands, and one is ka-ching, make it rain, okay? So in life, this has always been a contentious issue. The money versus love kind of thing. So that's what I'm getting at the moment, that the value systems are kind of different. One is oriented to building something emotional based, and the other one is veering towards a very materialistic outlook. And the reason for you to meet or to establish this relationship is to get both of you to look at things from a higher perspective. And so the higher perspective is to protect a community of some sort. So this is my initial impression of what I'm looking at. Now, to get the full story, we must use tarot. And today I'm going to use tarot at the end of the rainbow. And like I explained to the other groups, the reason why I chose this deck is because on the surface, it looks very airy-fairy. It's very cute. Lots of rainbows, lots of gnomes and trolls and fairies and satyrs, but you can actually see this as quite a deep and thorough deck as well, because it's a very complex system. As we know, mythical creatures are nothing but archetypes. So yeah, very complex if you want to make it so. Okay, so now, after a nice shuffle, we're going to look at the first, your counterpart's energy. So Happy families, what is that based on? Okay, and so we got a Three of Pentacles. Okay, door of value, what are you currently going through? The Emperor. Okay, now that's making sense, isn't it? Like that really, really makes sense. Okay, so just on this alone, let's take a look at the additional piece. Desiring happy families. And when you see three people working together, because this is just Three of Pentacles energy. So you've got a group and you're willing to talk things out. There's a common element that is giving you guidance. And once again, we see the full moon. Okay, so we see the full moon. So obviously, this is a project that is already successful or heading towards success very, very soon. Okay, so we've got all this energy which corresponds correctly. And also here, the door to value, which is your energy card, you've got the Emperor here. And look, the Emperor is holding a globe, and this is, I assume, maybe the world as well. Maybe, yeah, because look, she's holding, facing towards my left, he's holding, and eventually going, but towards my right, okay? So it's one pair. Okay, so in the world that in the same way that Mawu is building and protecting her world, the Emperor is creating his own world by using this. So maybe this door to value, your value system is to create abundance, and your counterparts is to protect what you have. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. So you guys are, yeah, working for the same goals basically. Then what's this crown chakra issue? Okay, let's take a look then. Oh, okay, by the way, I had to color in all the nudie bits because you know how YouTube it's very strict about these rules. So my decks, whenever there's kind of nudity, I've penciled in like bikini tops and boob tubes just to make it, you know, YouTube friendly. Okay, now let's see what's at the bottom. Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups, really? Okay. Oh, okay. Eight of Cups. Okay. So what it looks like here, so we've got a lot of water energy. Yeah, we've got a lot of water energy. Okay, what this looks like to me is the reason why the crown chakra is highlighted is that the connection between you two is creating a new, oh, there we go, look, corresponding of worlds again. Okay, the new world. Now, if you take a look at this new world card, this tree is sustained by, and now because it's elevated, it's giving back the water that it has received from the skies and absorbed to grow the roots, to grow this tree. So this is actually kind of like a feedback loop cycle. So the growth of an individual has to comprise of both the spiritual and the earthly. And the crown chakra really highlights this point. But there is a period of rest in order to reach this understanding. So what this looks, oh, okay, this, isn't it? It's crossed. Okay, I see here at the bottom of the deck, this relationship at one stage probably had to be stopped, or a part of it relinquished. Something was abandoned along the way, because this actually looks like the Emperor. The Emperor, or maybe you, once upon a time, walked away from this particular connection because the value system that you wanted to pursue was different to your counterparts. And feel free to reverse the energies, by the way, okay? So I'm not saying this is absolutely has to be you. This could be your counterpart. This could be you. But this Emperor energy, I think the story before this, reconnection, walked away from this because of the differing ideas on what is important in life. One valued home and family, the creation of, and one valued career, monetary gains and success. Hence, this relationship was reached a point of hiatus. And I think now, because the world is a globe, this has come back. The Emperor has come back. The Emperor has definitely come back. And now you're basically swapping war stories about what happened, and you're having a heart-to-heart at this stage, because it says, don't let pride get in your way. But we can see here the little sprite that's riding on this toad. She's moving towards this Leo. So there's a diminishing of pride and more willingness to work things out. And once again, here, the meetings of two different, because, okay, Pile group 2 got this as well. This mermaid and this fawn don't usually have access to each other's world because she lives in water, he lives on land. However, this is just like a serendipitous twist in life that has afforded them an opportunity to meet and exchange. So my guess is the Emperor once upon a time left this relationship to pursue different goals to this happily ever after family person, the counterpart originally, and due to some twist of fate, because the connection is based on understanding a higher perspective, after a point of rest between you two, the relationship, in order to come full circle to create this new world, there was an opportunity for a freak chance meeting that happened in which you guys had a real heart-to-heart discussion and started talking about how to protect, how to recreate, how to maybe continue with the relationship that was once disbanded. Disbandoned. And so, yeah, and a whole lot of it is intuition. So now, before it was very hard concrete logic. Now the Emperor is beginning to utilize maybe more emotional intelligence in guiding, like the way that he sees this relationship and how he interacts with his partner in this relationship context. And so I personally think your counterpart is thinking what the future is going to be like with you, even though the value systems are different, but that it can be worked out if both of you grow together. So continuous exchange of knowledge, information, and ideas to remake a new world in which both of you can have more of a harmonious balance in getting what you both want, because this is the new world card, and the only way that this new world can happen is the desire for the emotional, the spiritual, along with being grounded, which is what the earth energy provides. So yeah, that's what I think your person is thinking about when they think about you. You seem to be a very independent person who's very logical and maybe on paper materialistically successful, but this person brings the other softer parts of life, or the sweetness into your life that can be quite hard and cold if it's not balanced with emotional ties. and hence pride needs to be dropped in this case in order for this new relationship to grow. And I think your counterpart genuinely wants this new relationship to grow, and that's what they think about when they are thinking about you. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.